All right, grab your popcorn and get comfortable, because you are not going to believe the level of audacity I've had to deal with. So, there I was, standing in a room full of my mom's friends and our family, holding a perfectly good, custom-made birthday cake that I paid for. My mom was beaming, microphone in hand, and she had just finished her big, teary-eyed speech. She ended it by saying, "And I have to give my biggest thanks to my angel, my prodigal daughter, Sarah, for returning to me. You're the only thing that ever mattered." She didn't even look at me. Me, the daughter who paid for this entire party. The daughter who paid for the cake currently in my hands. The daughter who had been paying her mortgage for the last 5 years. The room was filled with soft ahs for my sister, Sarah, the prodigal daughter. She was soaking it all in, dabbing a fake tear from her eye. And in that moment, something inside me didn't just snap. It vaporized. So I did the only logical thing. I walked right up to the front, placed the cake on the table, and took the other microphone. I leaned in, looked my mother dead in the eye, and said, my voice calm and clear, "That's funny. Because I just got off the phone with your bank. And since I'm the daughter who doesn't matter, I guess my financial support doesn't matter either. The mortgage is due tomorrow. Good luck with that." Yeah, you could have heard a pin drop. The ahs turned into open-mouthed gasps. But to understand how we got to this nuclear-level family meltdown, we need to go back 5 years. 5 years of my life I'm never getting back. Let me set the scene for you. Growing up, there were two daughters, me and Sarah. Sarah was the golden child. She was the artistic one, the free spirit. Which was basically just family code for irresponsible and allergic to consequences. She could sketch a half-decent-looking flower, and my mom would act like she was the next Frida Kahlo. I, on the other hand, was the responsible one. The one with the good grades, the steady job, the 401k. I was reliable. I was the wallpaper. Always there, but never really seen. Our dad passed away when we were in our late teens, and it was tough. My mom leaned on me heavily, but she worshipped Sarah. Everything Sarah did was magical. When Sarah maxed out my mom's credit card on a spontaneous trip to find inspiration, it was a sign of her adventurous soul. When I used my first real paycheck to pay off that debt, it was just what a good daughter does. See the pattern here? The inciting incident, the event that kicked this whole nightmare off, happened when I was 25 and Sarah was 23. I came home from work to find my mom sobbing at the kitchen table. In front of her was a note. It was from Sarah. In her dramatic, loopy handwriting, it said she couldn't be caged any longer. She was moving across the country to become a real artist and live an authentic life. She didn't leave a forwarding address or a phone number. She just vanished. Oh, and she also vanished with about $3,000 she'd borrowed from my mom's emergency fund. My mom was shattered. Not just sad, but completely broken. And I did what the responsible one does. I stepped up. I was living on my own at the time, but I practically moved back in. I spent my weekends fixing the leaky faucet she'd been ignoring, doing her grocery shopping, helping her sort out her finances, which, thanks to Sarah's free spirit, were a total mess. A few months in, it became clear she couldn't afford the house on her own. She was going to have to sell our childhood home. The idea destroyed her. So, like an idiot, I made an offer. "Mom, don't sell. I'm getting a promotion at work. I can cover the mortgage payments you can't make." It was a huge stretch for me. It meant no vacations, no new car, no saving for my own down payment. But seeing the relief on her face? At the time, I thought it was worth it. For 5 years, that was our life. I was her rock. I paid a significant chunk of her mortgage and utilities every single month. I took her on weekend trips when she felt lonely. I spent Christmases with her when she cried about Sarah not being there. I held her hand through a health scare. I was the perfect, dutiful daughter. And she was grateful, you know? She'd always say, "I don't know what I'd do without you, honey." But there was always a sadness in her eyes. Every milestone of mine, every success, was met with a wistful sigh and "I wonder what Sarah is doing right now." Her room was kept exactly as she'd left it, like a museum exhibit. My old room, meanwhile, became the storage room. Then, 3 months ago, the unthinkable happened. The doorbell rang. I was over at Mom's, fixing her Wi-Fi, and when I opened the door, there she was. Sarah. Looking like she'd just stepped out of a 5-year-long music festival. Faded tattoos, ripped jeans, same old smirk. She didn't say, "I'm sorry." She didn't say, "I missed you." She just said, "Hey, I'm back." My mom heard her voice, and it was like a scene from a movie. She ran to the door, tears streaming down her face, and just smothered Sarah in a hug. It was the prodigal daughter returns. All was forgiven. Instantly. No questions asked about the stolen money or the 5 years of silence. And, just like that, I became invisible again. The escalation was immediate and brutal. Sarah, of course, was completely broke. So she moved back in. Not into the storage room, oh no. She moved right back into her perfect, preserved in amber bedroom. Within a week, my life turned into a nightmare. It started with small things. I came over to have dinner and Sarah was wearing my favorite sweater, one I'd left there. When I mentioned it, she just laughed. "Oh, this old thing? It looks better on me anyway." My mom just smiled and said, "Don't be petty, honey. Let your sister have it. She has nothing." Then it got bolder. Mom started asking me for a little extra money. Sarah needs some new clothes. She wants to take a pottery class to get her creative juices flowing. I'd remind her that I was already paying her mortgage, but she'd get this wounded look on her face. "It's for your sister. She's been through so much." What had she been through exactly? A 5-year vacation from all responsibility? I tried to talk to my mom about it. I sat her down and said, "Mom, I'm happy Sarah's back, but you can't just let her walk all over us. She needs to get a job. She needs to apologize for what she did." My mom's reaction was ice cold. "You have no idea what she's suffered. The world is cruel to artists. You, with your stable job, you wouldn't understand. She needs our support, not your judgment." The final escalation before the party was the one that really broke a piece of my soul. My grandmother, my dad's mom, had left me a beautiful, simple gold locket in her will. I kept it in my old jewelry box at my mom's house for safekeeping. One Friday night, my mom and Sarah went out to a fancy dinner, a dinner I'm sure my money paid for. Sarah posted a picture on Instagram. And there, around her neck, was my grandmother's locket. My blood went cold. I drove over there the next morning. I was furious. "Why is Sarah wearing Grandma's locket? You know that's mine." My mom wouldn't even look me in the eye. She just busied herself washing a dish. "Oh, honey. Sarah just loved it so much. It reminds her of Grandma. You have other nice things. Let her have this one thing. It makes her happy." "It's not about having nice things, Mom. It's mine. It was left for me." And then she said the words that I'll never forget. She turned to me, her face hard. "You know, for someone who has everything, you can be incredibly selfish. Sarah has nothing. I'm her mother. It's my job to protect her. And right now, I'm protecting her from your jealousy." Jealousy. After 5 years of sacrificing my own financial future, my time, my emotional energy to keep her afloat, she called me jealous. Because I wanted the one thing that was unequivocally mine. That was it. That was the breaking point. The love and sense of duty I felt for her just curdled. It turned into something cold and hard in the pit of my stomach. I realized I wasn't her daughter anymore. I was her utility. And now that her favorite appliance was back in the house, I was being shoved in a closet. So, I started making a plan. My mom's 60th birthday was in a few weeks. She'd been dropping hints about a big party for months. A party she couldn't possibly afford. A party she just assumed I would provide. And for once, I agreed. I told her, "Don't you worry, Mom. I'll handle everything. It will be the best birthday you've ever had." Oh, it was going to be a birthday she'd never forget, that's for sure. I went all out. I rented a beautiful room at a local restaurant. I invited all her friends and our family. I ordered a huge, gorgeous, three-tiered cake with her favorite flowers on it. I paid for everything. The deposits, the final bills, all of it from my bank account. Sarah, of course, tried to take credit. She'd tell people, "Oh, I helped my sister pick out the venue," or "I gave her the idea for the cake design." I just smiled and let her. It was all part of the plan. The day of the party, everything was perfect. The room looked stunning. My mom was glowing. She was so happy, hugging everyone, telling them how wonderful her daughters were. Plural. For a fleeting moment, I almost felt a pang of guilt. Maybe I should just let it go. But then the speeches started. My aunt said some nice words. A few of my mom's friends spoke. And then my mom took the microphone. She thanked everyone for coming. She talked about how wonderful it was to be 60. And then she looked at Sarah. "The last 5 years have been so difficult," she said, her voice cracking. There was a piece of my heart missing. But now my angel is back. She reached out and took Sarah's hand. "Sarah, you coming home is the greatest gift I could have ever received. You make my life whole. And I have to give my biggest thanks to my angel, my prodigal daughter, Sarah, for returning to me. You're the only thing that ever mattered." The room was silent, save for a few sniffles. And she just stood there, beaming at Sarah. Not a glance in my direction. Not a single thank you to the person who made the entire event possible. I wasn't her daughter. I wasn't even the help. I was nothing. And that brings us back to the beginning. I walked up to the front, my heart beating with a strange, icy calm. I took the other microphone from the stand. The room murmured, probably thinking I was going to give my own heartfelt speech. "That's funny," I said, my voice ringing out clearly. Everyone turned to look at me. My mom's smile faltered. "Because I just got off the phone with your bank. And since I'm the daughter who doesn't matter, I guess my financial support doesn't matter either. The mortgage is due tomorrow. Good luck with that." My mom's face went from confused to horrified to pure, unadulterated rage. Sarah looked like a deer in headlights. My aunt gasped, "What are you talking about?" I kept my eyes locked on my mom. For 5 years, I announced to the entire room, I have been paying the mortgage on her house so she wouldn't have to sell it. I've paid her bills. I've funded her life while her angel was off finding herself. But I've just been informed that I don't matter. So my financial contributions must not matter either. As of today, I'm done. I put the microphone down. I looked at the beautiful cake I'd paid for, walked over, picked up the cake knife, and cut myself a huge slice. Then I turned around and walked out of the room, leaving behind a scene of absolute chaos. The shouting started before the door even closed behind me. The aftermath was intense. My phone blew up for the next 48 hours. A few relatives, the older, more traditional ones, called to tell me I was a monster for humiliating my mother like that. But most of them, my cousins, my younger aunts and uncles, called to say, "It's about damn time." We all saw what was happening. My mom and Sarah, of course, went through the 5 stages of grief via text message. First came the rage-filled texts about how ungrateful I was. Then came the bargaining. "If you just apologize, we can forget this ever happened and you can keep helping us out." Then the guilt trips. "Your mother can't sleep. She's a wreck because of you." I ignored all of them. Finally, about a week later, the panicked calls started. The bank had indeed called. The mortgage was indeed due. I blocked their numbers. I heard through the grapevine, my favorite aunt, who was team me all the way, what happened next. They couldn't pay. They tried to get a loan, but my mom's credit was shot and Sarah had no job history. They had no choice but to sell the house and fast. They didn't get a good price for it. After paying off the mortgage, there wasn't much left. They ended up moving into a tiny, 2-bedroom apartment an hour away. And the best part? The artistic Sarah, the free spirit, had to get a job. A real one. At a coffee shop. I hear she hates it. As for me, the first month was hard. It's a strange feeling to surgically remove your own mother from your life. But then, a weight I didn't even know I was carrying just lifted. All that money I was pouring into her house? It's now in a high-yield savings account, and I'm on track to buy my own condo next year. I took my first real vacation in 5 years last month. I went to Italy. It was amazing. I'm the villain in their story, I'm sure of it. The cold, cruel daughter who abandoned her family. But I'm the hero of my own story. The woman who finally realized her own worth. It was a messy, nuclear ending to a chapter of my life, but let me tell you, it was totally, absolutely worth it. So yeah, if you think this is wild, you should hear about what happened when my cousin tried to make me a bridesmaid after siding with my mom. But that's a story for another time. Make sure you're following, because the family drama, believe it or not, gets even crazier.